ASMR Magical Tools. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is going to be your week ahead forecast for March 3rd through March 10th. And I'm going to start out by kind of brushing this selenite through your aura. And selenite is magnificent. It is a wonderful transmuter of energy. So this is just going to transmute any negative energy that you have going on right now and will remove it. Yes. So, if there's anything that's been going on with you this past week, and you would like to transmute those energies specifically, just kind of bring those things to the forefront of your mind. Acknowledge them, and then let them go. And this selenite wand will transmute that energy into positivity that you will be able to use. But it's sometimes helpful and useful to be able to acknowledge the things that bother you, anything that bothers you. And this will make you look extra glowy and attractive when I'm done as well. People always can tell the difference in your vibrations. So I'm going to use this selenite wand a little bit more, and then we're going to do some breathing exercises. And then I'm going to do a little bit of smoke cleansing. With some black magic incense. It is a Saturn and Pluto influence incense, I believe. So good for stuck energies, good for establishing things, good for transitions and change, also dealing with death, and of course dealing with curses and black magic. It's not necessarily for use in black magic. I'm sure you could use it for that. It's kind of like how they call fungal creams. It's the same kind of principle. Alright, so let's take release. And breathe in. And hold it. Just go down the list. Anything that's left, just acknowledge it, check it off, and release. And inhale. And hold. And this is the final batch, the final batch, the final batch. Just check it off. I see you, I see you. You have been acknowledged. And release. Sometimes my sink has digestive problems also. I apologize for that. I hope it's not too distracting. Yeah, let me just tidy up the edges. Sorry. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. I'm not using my real saliva for that. I'm using my spiritual saliva. It is a blessing. It is a blessing. Alright. So next we are going to light this stick of incense. And I did burn a bit of it already, but that will not make it less effective. Alright. And this is going to fill in any of the holes where negative energy might have left an empty space in any kind of alchemical process, such as the transmutation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. But when you transmute the energy, some of it is lost, along with the impurities. The process itself does require some energy. So this smoke cleansing will fill in all the little gaps. There we go. And you'll feel much cleaner. You'll feel much cleaner. is this beautiful piece of dendritic agate. Dendritic agate. One side is very smooth and the other side is kind of rough. It's a flat piece like this, so it sounds really nice. When I tap on it. I will be using the Digit Masters alleged lotus oil as my scrying and ceromancy oil today. I bought this in a little shop near the cathedral, and the hostel where I was staying in Baltimore, Maryland. So it's time to prepare the ceromancy. Ceromancy is a wax scrying. I do crystal scrying in the videos, but I also like to do a couple of other neat little parlor tricks. Just for fun, just for fun. Oh, I think I dipped it in the water a little bit. Oops, didn't go out though. Alright. That should be enough for now. We might actually have a very interesting ceromancy session today later. At the end of the video. I like to save it for the end, but as most of you know, my returning friends, I always timestamp everything down in the description box. Oh yes, it's that time again. So, Wednesday the 3rd, the moon is going to start out in Scorpio. And then by Wednesday the 10th, the moon will have moved back into Aquarius. I mean, I guess I could say that about any of the signs. It's moving back into Scorpio, back into Aquarius. That's how cycles work. Venus is in Pisces now. So Venus and Neptune are hanging out together in the sign of Pisces. This is good for intuition regarding your romantic relationships and also relationships with your higher power, and how that intuition can lead you to, how to put this, be more compassionate to romantic partners, friends, family members, etc. We're starting out with, and the sun is in Pisces too, so this might be a time where people are much more receptive emotionally to each other and much more attuned to each other's needs. Fingers crossed, wouldn't it be nice? We have the moon in Scorpio, and it is going to form trines with Venus, the sun, and Neptune on Wednesday the 3rd, so that's 2 water signs. The moon in Scorpio is a very occult, hidden energy. It can be things being brought to light, but it's usually like this kind of dark, mysterious energy that's hanging over things. Could be good for romance, but you might be too locked up in your own headspace to really appreciate it, honestly. We have quincunx between the moon in Scorpio and Chiron in Aries. So, these things being very obscured and obfuscated and unclear. That impatient nature, if you have any of that, or an immaturity, with that Chiron in Aries, you're going to be forced to act in some way. Those are all things that you could be working on at this time. Uranus in Taurus is going to be in opposition to the moon in Scorpio and also sextile to Venus in Pisces. So, the opposition, we've got all of these hidden agendas, hidden things, everything's obscure and murky. being this joint property, and deciding how to delegate joint properties, stuff like that. That opposition, there might be things that end up coming to light. Scorpio is also other people's possessions. So, where do my possessions, where does my comfort start, and where does other people's comfort and possessions end? Defining those boundaries. The sextile between Uranus in Taurus and Venus in Neptune. So this Venus and Neptune energy, right? Just very intuitive, very sympathetic to other people's needs. I wouldn't call it necessarily a people pleaser energy, but it definitely could manifest that way. So keep that in mind. So that sextile is going to kind of help smooth things over in relationships where you have shared property. We have a square. We have squares with Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter are all in Aquarius right now, and they're all going to be squaring the moon when it's in Scorpio. So, the way that it looks right now, we've got Saturn first, and Saturn is this concretion energy. It's very slow moving, and so, it could be about pecking orders in cliques, because Aquarius is, of course, about group energies, and how these established hierarchies might be playing out. Aquarius can also be new ideas, and Saturn can be a resistance to new ideas. So what do we have next? We have Mercury in Aquarius coming through. Mercury loves new ideas. Aquarius loves new ideas. Mercury's all about communication. So communication starts chipping away at these barriers. And then we have Jupiter in Aquarius, and Jupiter is this wealth and expansion energy. And as it relates to Aquarius, this could be expanding your friend groups. It could be new ideas expanding your wealth also. And because all of these are being squared by Moon in Scorpio, right? All these hidden things, all these treacheries, anything like that. Seven of Swords possibly popping up for some of you at this time. It could be that on Wednesday, people are trying to pull the wool over each other's eyes. Thursday, the moon is still going to be in Scorpio for some of you who are on the East Coast. The moon will then enter Sagittarius, kind of like in the middle of the afternoon. There is going to be an opportune period that starts when the moon squares Jupiter on Wednesday, and then ends when the moon is void of course on Thursday. And that is going to be when the moon in Scorpio is sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto's just been chilling in there in Capricorn. Could be a lot of job transition going on for some of you, because Pluto is a lot about transitions and endings. So, can have to do with job transitions because of the Capricorn energy. It can be transitions in how your income streams are flowing. And it could be drying up of some income streams and then possibilities opening for new ones. Pluto's a very dark, death-related energy. But it really boils down to how you see death. Do you see it as the end of your energy here on Earth? Or do you see it as the beginning of your next phase? The next phase of your energy? Do you see it as your return to your true home? Do you see it as the beginning of a new life? So all of those things are kind of wrapped up in that Pluto energy. And of course, Capricorn can have to do with career, but also think of career as how you are able to make a way for yourself in this world, utilizing everything around you to improve your status and improve your place here in the physical realm that we call Earth. I would never claim it's the only one. Anyway, this opportune period is aided by Venus in Pisces, and it's fine for anything from business to romance. And keep in mind, Mercury's direct now, so we're not having to focus on things that we've already started. You can start something new. Mars is also going to enter Gemini on Wednesday the 3rd. Sorry, I know I'm kind of backing up and going forward and backing up again. Mars in Gemini could be disagreements with siblings that pop up while Mars is in Gemini. It can be a strong urge to travel. A strong urge to leave your house and either run errands or go to places nearby your house. And this is also good for interstate commerce. Mars is an aggressive energy, but it's also a very passionate, driven energy. So it can be overly aggressive sometimes, but it can also, give something the kick in the pants that it needs to move forward. Alright, so we talked about the sextile between Moon and Scorpio and Pluto in Capricorn a little bit, The Moon is going to enter Sagittarius, and it is going to then be in opposition to that Mars in Gemini. Moon in Sagittarius is about spiritual matters, can be hidden spiritual matters, and not necessarily religious matters, but all of the things that you do to elevate yourself, so can also be tied up in higher education and long distance travel. So here we have this Mars in Gemini, short distance travel urges, balanced out by the Moon in Sagittarius energy of possibly planning a larger trip for the future. Can have to do with artistic endeavors, can have to do with hidden things also, and emotional states. I really want to travel long distance, but I am not able to do that right now, so I'm going to travel short distance. I'm going to just be out of my house every day this week. Just be careful. And then we also have a conjunction between Mercury in Aquarius and Jupiter. So this conjunction is going to be very beneficial for communicating with your peer groups and your business groups regarding things to grow the collective wealth moving forward, and that's going to be on Thursday evening or Thursday night, depending again on if you live on the East Coast or the West Coast. Friday the 5th, Moon is in Sagittarius all day. There's a trine with Chiron in Aries, fellow air signs. So again, this Moon in Sagittarius energy, your emotional states of how you are improving yourself, is very aligned with Chiron in Aries. This could be a really good time to do some reevaluation and really set some goals and boundaries for yourself where your personality is concerned anything about yourself that you feel like is a toxic habit toward others would be a good thing to evaluate during this time. That is going to be very early in the morning, so some of you might get this in your dreams. There's going to be a quincunx between Moon in Sagittarius and Uranus in Taurus. So again, this energy of joint possessions, Moon in Sagittarius, you're working on this self-improvement. It's possible that you are then going to act on some kind of joint possession situation that maybe things have not been totally equitable and you have decided to step up and do your part to change those things for the better. There are going to be sextiles all of Friday, of course, between the moon in Sagittarius and then all of the planets in Aquarius. Excuse me. So, now, because Jupiter and Mercury had that conjunction, it's going to be Saturn first, then Jupiter, and then Mercury coming through. So now we've bumped the wealth and expansion stage of things up, and then we'll talk about how that's going to work out later. But these are sextiles. It's all favorable, very favorable. And again, this could have to do with self-improvement, but it could also be planning future trips, and it could have to do with higher education, and hidden things and artistic things. The moon in Sagittarius is going to square Venus and the Sun in Pisces on Friday, and then on Saturday it's going to be squaring Neptune in Pisces, and it's going to square Neptune in Pisces when it is void, of course. So, a very good time for these two mutable signs, energies to be influencing these planets. Because it's basically like anything goes. Sagittarius is a very flexible sign, and of course Pisces is also. And the moon and Neptune are kind of like, they're not quite, but they're almost like two different octaves of the same note. So this will be a very good energy for intuitively determining things to help you out in the future. But again, it's a square placement, so what that's going to do is create confusion for some of you. And there might be things about it that are very unclear. So if you can ride that, it's really going to change things for the better, because squares do create the tension that brings change. And as far as like these squares with Venus and the Sun, so the previous day, those squares between Moon and Sagittarius and then the Venus and the Sun in Pisces might be kind of like setting up that situation that then the next day everything kind of becomes really, I wouldn't call it chaotic. I would call it indeterminate. Indeterminate is very different from chaotic, if you know what I mean. And then right after that, the moon is going to enter Capricorn. So the moon in Capricorn is forming a quincunx with Mars in Gemini. This moon in Capricorn can be like hidden work situations. It can be your emotional feelings about your career. And if you have a career in the arts, that can come up at this time too. Mars in Gemini, very good for like driven action, as it regards communication would be good for that. Also for siblings, if you are working with a sibling and you really need to have a sit-down talk with them, it might end up happening around this time. It is going to be an overnight energy between Saturday and Sunday, so this might not necessarily play out like in your office space proper. There's a square between the moon in Capricorn and Chiron in Aries. So again, that Chiron in Aries energy, we've been talking about it for a while now. We're going to continue to talk about it, but it is healing all the parts of yourself that are immature and that start things that you don't finish. So all of those things could be like childishness too. Healing all those parts of yourself. And when you have that square with the moon in Capricorn, emotionally there might be things that you want for your career that need to be reconciled with impulsiveness or immature tendencies. There's going to be a trine between the moon in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. So again, that what is going to be the best thing to do with this piece of property for all of us. And then a sextile between moon in Capricorn and Venus in Pisces, and that's going to happen kind of in the evening. That's going to be a very interesting energy because, Venus in Pisces, not going to call it a people pleaser energy, but very intuitive to the needs of others, certainly. Whereas the moon in Capricorn is more of the practical side of lunar energies and how are my emotions affecting my ability to do a good job and things like that. So this sextile placement will be very interesting, but it'll also probably be very smooth energy because it's a sextile. Monday, March the 8th. The moon will enter Aquarius kind of very late. Either it'll be an overnight energy, either March the 8th or March the 9th, depending on which coast you live on. So most of the day, the moon will still be in Capricorn. And you're going to then get the sextiles with the sun in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So you're going to continue working through a lot of these energies, and there might be a point at which you appeal to a higher power as well. Another fun and exciting tidbit that will be occurring on Monday is a conjunction when the moon is void of course between the moon in Capricorn and Pluto. So we talked about that Pluto energy in Capricorn a little bit, and then when you bring the moon in, the moon's light is very kind of vague. The moon's light is merely a reflection of the sun's light and is dependent on its position to the sun and to the earth. So, it can obscure things, it can obfuscate things. It's very good for artistic feelings and emotional feelings for that reason. But, as far as shedding light properly on situations, it's not really meant for that. So you have this kind of career-minded energy popping up on Monday where things are kind of in a transitional state and a lot of things are kind of hidden to you. So just kind of ride with it if you can. It might end up being really good. Tuesday, the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and we have a square with Mars in Gemini. Alright, so moon in Aquarius energy. Hidden things in your groups, hidden ideas, these new, fresh, exciting ideas coming to light. Maybe you have a feeling in your gut and then you turn it into a great idea that no one's ever thought of before. Mars in Gemini being a very aggressive but also passionate energy can have to do with communication, can also have to do with new ideas. It's a very mathematical kind of an energy. Not as mathematical as Mercury in Gemini, but can kind of push through any blocks that you're having regarding intellectual matters. There's going to be a sextile with Chiron in Aries and the moon in Aquarius. And so this moon in Aquarius energy, as it's related to Chiron in Aries, is going to be about like anytime that you are dealing with other people and you have immature tendencies in your interactions with them. Immature tendencies can play out in any kind of ways. It can be a selfishness, talking about oneself exclusively. It can also be, making jokes that are inappropriate and not very funny. And things like that might be coming to light, and you might be having feelings about them. But it's a sextile, so it could be that you realize how far you've come to. There's going to be a square with Uranus and Taurus, so moon in Aquarius. People are kinda, everybody in the front group having their own agenda, possibly. And then Uranus and Taurus, those joint possessions we've been talking about for some time now. Finally, on Tuesday, we get a conjunction, which the moon is going to be conjuncting Saturn, Jupiter, and also Mercury in Aquarius. And then also on Wednesday, Neptune and the Sun are going to be conjunct. So a lot of conjunct energies. And Aquarius and Pisces are these neighboring energies. They're not exactly close together as far as like how they play out, what those energies are actually like, but there are key similarities that are going to be, I think, coming out at this time. Like, when you are dealing with groups, it's good to be intuitive as to everyone's needs. When you have new ideas, something's going to come to an end. So you can see how there's like an evolution there between Aquarius and Pisces. I think of all the signs, the evolution between Aquarius and Pisces is the most, like textbook laid out. Like you can kind of see the progression there. And there's also going to be an opportune period. So the moon is going to conjoin Jupiter at around 9 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon. And then the opportune period will end either around 7:30 or 10:30 in the evening, when the moon is void, of course, and conjunct Mercury. And that is a good time to finish up and release your ongoing projects during the last quarter moon. So if you want to get a lot of stuff pushed out of the way before the new moon, this would be a good time to do that. And just to look forward, the new moon is going to be in Pisces, and it is going to be on Saturday the 13th. So just to give you a heads up on that, and that is the ephemera for this week. Hello, Aries. Welcome back. So, let's see what is in store for you this week. see. I think some of you might be going to a cosmetology school. Not necessarily attending the school, but to get like a discounted haircut or a discounted cosmetic enhancement done, like the fake eyelashes. Sorry, eyelash extensions. It could be something like that. Or to get your hair dyed. This might even be something that you're doing to help out a friend who is taking classes at the cosmetology school. Yeah, I'm gonna help her out. She gives you the best haircut, gets a passing grade, and it's a really vivid, like maybe she dyes your hair a really vivid color, and it comes out looking really good, and very, like your hair can get really badly damaged when you dye it different colors. But, this hairstyle, it's like a cut and color, and it looks really good and doesn't look damaged at all. So she gets like a good grade. Good grade. People are telling you to catch up with your divinity. This could be like, not necessarily that you attend a church, but you might have a godparent or somebody like that you haven't caught up with in a long time. And when they come back into your life, it's not like they're pushing religion necessarily, but they're encouraging you to seek better answers than what you currently have at your disposal. So this person might be an older relative. They might be just somebody who was an older friend of your parents. But it's kind of like searching for your divinity. What parts of yourself, Aries, are aligned with the divine? Not that you're, living a bad life, or that you're wicked, or that you're possessed, or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is like a refinement of these certain processes. That squeaky sound might not be for everyone. I do apologize if that's not quite your cup of tea. And a lot of people, I think, are going to be looking at March this year as kind of like the turnover point for the year, because, this time last year is when lockdown started. So it might be that a lot of people are kind of thinking of this as a reset point. And maybe that'll be the case. We have vaccines coming out. It seems like things are heading in a good direction, which is good. But this is specifically specifically relating to how some things that have been kind of cycling around in your life for a while are now coming to the surface in a way that is that you can no longer ignore. I think is kind of the basic gist that I'm getting. And there might be an older relative or a godparent, somebody that you are close to in that way, who kind of is helping you with this refinement process. And it's all about getting in touch with and finding your divinity. Divinity is also, it's kind of like a meringue, but usually they put like nuts in it, like pecan or walnut. I think usually pecan divinity. It is a type of candy that is very popular in the South. And if you know anything about meringue, it's like these egg whites that have been fluffed up and into like a foam consistency, and then it hardens like on the outside. Maybe they bake it or something. I am not a confectioner, so I don't know exactly how they make divinity. If you want to elucidate, please let me know down in the comments. But the point that I'm making here is that it's got like this crunchy outside, and then it's kind of like, it kind of melts in your mouth. They call it divinity. And the nuts give it like a nice texture, a nice toothiness to it, so that it doesn't just evaporate in your mouth like a meringue. And I think that divinity, usually like meringue, they give it like a flavor, so like a citrus flavor, so there's like more substance to it. But with a divinity, I don't think that they use that much other flavoring. I think it's just kind of like sugar flavored, maybe vanilla. But there's like a frothiness to it, and then the substance comes from the nuts. The sweetness comes from the frothed up egg whites and sugar, and the substance comes from these nuts. And you are watching your life kind of take shape like this. There's a process going on. Is there anything else that I need to tell Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? You might want to wear shorts to the cosmetology school appointment. Like, I don't know if you need to be dressed up for it, but I think that whatever you were thinking of wearing, whether it was like long pants or a skirt, I think you should go with shorts. Anyway, I think that's it for the scrying portion. Let us get the final answer out of the Napoleonic Oracle. So, just kind of contemplate any questions that you would like an answer to, an something that a lot of people around you are involved with right now. This person who's helping you find your divinity, they might be very involved in their church or a religious organization or even some kind of personal soul searching. That's it for you this week, Aries. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Taurus. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is going to be your week ahead for March 3rd through the 10th. And let's see what is in store for you this week. 7 syrups. It's weird. There's some kind of like, it's not like an edict. It's like seven rules for life, or these 7 I'm hearing like 7 syrups, like it's 7 different flavors or 7 tincture type substances that one of them treats this, one of them that treats this. It might even be 7 different corresponding medicine type things for chakras. That's possible too. But there's going to be some kind of film class. I don't know about... Yeah, I mean, you could be watching a movie like The 7 Seals or The 7 Samurai in a film class. Something like that. Might be on Zoom, might be for college, might just be for fun. Yeah, there's a lot of like movies with that in the name. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I don't think that's what you're going to be watching in a film class, though. Anything's possible, I guess. But there's definitely like a lot about this deep symbolism, and you're gonna get like very like deep into the headspace of whatever this piece of media is. It could be a piece of media, but it's kind of like the idea of watching this very symbolic film. I really feel like, is that a Ingmar Bergman film, The 7 Seals? I don't remember exactly, but if you know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. I feel like you're going to be watching this movie, and it's really going to strike a chord with you, and you are going to get very, like, deep into the philosophical and spiritual meaning of this particular piece of media, and it's going to expand from there and kind of take you out into this other headspace to occupy. And maybe you'll return to how you have been before, but it might be a situation where this is a departure for you into a is like a little tweak. Like when you're at the eye doctor and they put the lenses and he's like, is it better 1 or 2? And you start kind of refining that vision. It's not going to be quite like that. This is going to be like if you had on 3D blue and red glasses and then trade them out for 3D glasses that are meant to work with certain types of film that we have now in the modern age, whereas those other 3D glasses were a more primitive way of looking at the movies in 3D. Sorry, I popped my mouth a little bit there. I hope that's not too distracting. Yeah, this movie, The Seven Seals, and you might be watching it for a film class, or you might have had a film class in the past and you watched part of it and you kind of halfway remember and you end up watching it again. So for some of you, it might be that movie specifically. For others of you, there might be something else that really triggers that same kind of progression for you. I should really write these things down because now I want to make sure that I check that out as well. He's giving you homework, like somebody's giving you homework. And I don't feel like this is just some like film guy that you go on a date with and he's like, oh, you really have to watch this movie, it changed my life. I don't think it's like that. Who is this person? Like a longtime friend. This could be somebody that you've known for a long time. I don't get the sense that they're necessarily a potential or current romantic partner. But it could be like a very good friend, somebody that you trust their judgment. And because you have had this conversation with this person about this piece of media, and we will just call it the Seven Seals for now, that you end up revisiting it, and it really sends you off into this different headspace. What else do I need to tell Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? I don't want you to think that you are getting off easy. I don't want you to think that there's something going on and you are going to feel something akin to survivor guilt. Survivor guilt, if you're not familiar with that term, is how people feel when they've watched everyone around them suffer and possibly perish. And because they made it through the situation and they survived and they seem, to be okay in spite of it, people sometimes feel guilty that they were not able to save other people, that they were not affected the same way. It could be any number of things, any number of emotions that you end up feeling. Because of this, you could make some decisions that are not in your best interest. But it's okay to be doing okay. It's okay to be thriving. You don't have to be in the same sinking ship as everyone else. And if you're not, you should be grateful for that and not guilty. Now, obviously, it's easy for me to say that, and it's a lot more difficult for you to internalize that. But I'm giving you permission. But of course, you know that I don't pass judgment. And I really just hope that these messages are helpful. Yeah, let's move on to the bibliomancy, shall we? So, just think about your question. And I'm gonna listen to your question, so you can whisper it if you want to. You can whisper it to me if you want. Okay. Knowest thou that which in the shortest time will be productive of most profit to thee? So it's about prioritizing your time and resources. I think it's mostly, let me read it to you again, because it's worded strangely, you know. You know how it is. Knowest thou that, comma, which in the shortest time will be productive of most profit to thee, question mark. I think it's just trying to urge you to be pragmatic. Be pragmatic. Don't let other people's motivations hold you back. Don't get overly distracted by outside things. Thank you, Taurus. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Gemini. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Well-heeled and well-heeled. Somebody who had fortunate circumstances growing up, whatever your wounds have been, you are absolved of them. Some kind of mysterious creature showing up on your front doorstep. Certainly not a hound of hell, or the cutty sow, but portend some kind of, the cutty sow is like a boar from, I don't know if it's actually from Scottish mythology, but there was a Tales from the Dark Side episode about this boar that would show up on Christmas, and if you were awake, it would gore you to death. Now, I don't think that this demon or imp or whatever this little thing is that shows up at your door, it's gonna look quite frightening. But its bark is worse than its bite, or I guess like its appearance is worse than what it is actually capable of doing. It's there to warn you. I mean, its function is not a warning. Its primary directive is to wear your entrails as a bandolero. But its function ends up being as a warning to you about some aspect of your current existence that is going to bring you this thing just happens to accelerate that process. Because, of course, any number of things can be harmful to you. And I'm certainly not judging. I'm not judging you when I say this. But you're gonna feel judged when this thing shows up. He didn't like you at first. And so there was kind of like this like circling the perimeter like a coyote. You know, coyotes are not, they're not as harmful or dangerous as grizzly bears, but they can still cause you quite a bit of damage. Even things that are much smaller than you can be lethal to humans, purely by merit of their makeup versus our makeup. And this is something like that. I don't know what it is showing up at your door. It could even be a HelloFresh box, for all I know. But there's gonna be something about it that looks, or possibly smells, ominous to you. Yeah, if you have one of those food subscription services, or you order takeout, just to be certain that nobody is tampering with your food. That's not going to be the same for every one of you. And I think you'll know if it's you because it's going to be a situation where there is enmity between either yourself and the delivery person, or yourself and a neighbor. Like your shipment might be late, but then what actually has happened is that a neighbor has confiscated the goods, tampered with them, and then put it back on your doorstep. Something like that. But again, like I said, that's not going to be for everyone. He's not going to wait for you to find out. So this could be somebody who's really out for blood. Out for blood, out for blood, out for blood. What a weird situation. I'm really sorry if this is happening to you, Gemini. Or if this is analogous in some way to something that is happening to you right now. But I really do sense that the threat is right outside your door. As long as you stay inside, you're perfectly safe. It's only when you venture outside that... Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness. That was really sudden. Like a roar. So it's not something to worry about necessarily, like I wouldn't fret about it. But be cautious about it. And what should Gemini be doing to avoid or divert this hunter from their path? something that's like lurking outside of the dwelling where you are. But that if you are not lingering outside, that it won't be a problem. One of the things that they, I think, have found out about Woodsy is that he liked to travel. There was something, and I don't quite remember what they had determined his type of work to be, but that he might have been leading a more nomadic lifestyle than some of his contemporaries. And that was the reason why he ended up so far up in the Alps as he did. Because I think also, like, some of the other people who were involved in finding his body ended up having misadventures that led to their deaths, and I think it was very much related to the fact that they were adventurers. But Gemini is a very adventurous sign. Like, you have to be able to go on adventures. Just not right now. Just playing it safe right now. How long will this be going on? It will continue until the horse race on New Year's Eve of 2022. There's a horse race. I don't know what that means. Why is the horse race of significance? It's not. It's just where you're gonna be when the threat passes. Okay. Is there anything else that I need to tell Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Keep your pets indoors. Let's move on to the bibliomancy, shall we? So if you have any questions, just tell me. Just tell me your questions. Okay. Yeah, a secret enemy will endeavor to undermine your happiness. So I guess that's what we already talked about. Gemini, it sounds like you have a very exciting week ahead of you. I hope it's a good one, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi Cancer, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, I apologize, I have very terrible digestion. Let's talk about your week ahead. March 3rd through the 10th. Here's the stone that I'm using. It's a dendritic agate. Dendritic agate. Some people also call it dendritic opal. Dendritic opal. You paid a lot for those shoes, and you're gonna get your wear's worth out of them. So don't scuff them up. Don't, I see you like, you're wearing like a, fancy suit and like nice dress shoes. Or even like sneakers with a really nice suit, but it all costs a lot of money. And somebody's coming up to you and like, kind of breathing heavy on your shoulder or something. And you kind of go like, hey, me with your Cheeto dust fingers, you know, like that kind of an energy. And you are walking by an open doorway, and there's a big gust of wind, and it pushes the door closed, and it like slams like right next to you, and you feel the air push you. And what's the difference in that? Well, the difference is your filthy, germy breath. The house doesn't necessarily have filthy, germy breath. This is a bank. Banks are fancy. They don't have germs inside. They only have money. So there could be an interaction between you and somebody else coming up this week where you realize that they were raised in a barn and you were not. And that you end up viewing them in a different light because of it. This could be somebody you've known for a long time, and then your opinion of them changes overnight because they I don't know, spit on the ground or something like that. And you realize that they have no regard for their own filth. It's something like that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're never going to interact with them again. But I do think that you are going to have different interactions with them moving forward, possibly. And they're going to come back and, well, I didn't give you a bunch of grief when you did blah, 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 and when you blah, 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 and you're going to be like, well, I think you can see that things are very different now. Thank you very much. I just don't live like that anymore. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am saying that I don't live like that anymore. So, it could be a difference of opinion taken one step further. They're not like the worst person you've ever met, and this isn't like, I found out that you, are involved with something illegal, or something to do with kids, or something to do with, politics that I don't care for. This is just gonna be like a basic hygiene procedure. And, after you talk about it with this person, maybe they'll change it, maybe they won't. But the way that the interaction between the two of you goes down, you might not be able to broach this subject with them again later to find out. Yeah, it's gonna make a rift between you, but not necessarily like like we're never gonna be friends again. It's just, kind of like, make sure I wash my hands and bleach all my clothes when I get back from their house, since I found out that they do X, Y, or Z. I don't think you're giving them an opportunity to rectify their missed opportunity. Let's call it a missed opportunity, shall we? That after this happens, you guys just kind of don't ever talk about that again. But you never talked about it before, because if you had known that before, things would have been totally different, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. So, Cancer, if you have a question, I want you to direct it. Tell me your question. Alright. sowest, so shall thy children reap. Things that happen now, today, are going to affect humanity and society and the world in general and little plants and trees forevermore. We don't know how, but it stretches beyond your own lifetime. As a Cancer, I'm sure that you're already painfully aware of that. So, why this is coming up for your crystal scrying this week, I can only guess. But take it if you may. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't even worry about it. I hope you have a great week, Cancer. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Leo. Welcome back. This will be your forecast for the week ahead, March 3rd through the 10th. And let's see what is in store for you. This is my dendritic agate that I will be using this week. It's very cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. So many dendritics in it. He's not really trying to make you have a hard time. He just wants you to remember. He just wants to give you something that you'll remember. If I give you a chore, you're going to remember it better than if I give you like a balloon on a stick, right? Is that necessarily an appropriate way to approach things? That's up to you to decide. These are your boundaries. It's not well-wishing, it's not ill-wishing, it's just kind of wishing. And you know what they say, if you have a wish in one hand and the other thing in the other hand, what do you actually have? Just this. But it's not wishing on your part. There's a wishing. There's like this wishing energy. I wish I could have done this. I wish I had that. I wish things were different. So it's like I wish things were different, but how do you wish things were? How do you want things to be? There's a difference between wishing and wanting something, because wanting implies that you're taking a more active part in the manifestation process. I'm going to be doing a series coming up of elemental meditations. The 4 elements. So you've got the 2 active elements, which is fire and air, and you have the 2 passive elements, and that is water and earth energy. Okay, so when you are approaching something, if you have like water energy, that would be the wishing. If you have fire energy, that would be the wanting and the manifestation. wishing and the wanting? Well, are you wishing for something and also working towards it? Or are there things that you wish for that you're not working towards, but other things that you are actively pursuing? So there are a lot of different combinations therein, much like the Seven of Cups, all of them overflowing. Some of them have snakes, and some of them have jewels. But I haven't given you enough territory yet to persuade the elder gods. I haven't given you enough territory yet to persuade. Yeah, like, this is some kind of pantheon, either the Neteru or the pantheon of Greek gods or the Olympians, you know. A situation in which you haven't been proven yet. And it's not like you couldn't prove yourself. It's that you haven't been given the test yet. You will be tested very soon, but like how soon? I want to know this too. Within the next few days, weeks. It will be coming up this week, because this, like that old song, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden. It's like, yeah, but maybe you kind of implied that was part of the deal. It has to do with that, but it also doesn't have to do with that at all. I think these are two situations that are mutually separate. Mutual separation. And there's going to be a coming together, but not like, I don't know, I keep seeing month after month all of these tarot readings where they're like, somebody's coming into your life, they're coming into your life. And it's always perceived as a romantic partner, a potential romantic partner. It's not very often that people will say things like, well, this could be your new best friend, or it could be the person who funds your whole business. I heard this story about Tchaikovsky, the composer, that he had one main benefactor who paid his whole way, and the one condition, the stipulation, was that they never meet in person. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but isn't it a great story that you could have somebody completely bankroll your whole existence, and all they ask of you is, please, let's never meet. What else do I need to tell Leo about this whole situation? Yeah, so you're going to be tested. You've already studied for this test. It's not really, it's like passing the bar exam, for example. This is going to be a qualification more so than than like the judgment card energy of like a trial by fire. No, this is merely just putting it all down on paper that you have met these qualifications. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like you haven't been asked to do this thing yet, and it's not the kind of thing that you can put out there that you want to do. So it's not quite like the bar exam in that way, that you sign up for it and then you take it, and then you either pass or fail it. This is more like we've been watching you for a while, and we've decided that you can join this secret society, but there is a qualification test that you have to pass. So it's not even quite like hazing. It's just, like I said, it's like putting everything down on paper. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Leo about for this week ahead? There are things you are going to have to give up, obviously, but it might be things that you're ready to get rid of. So, tell me your question. Tell me the question. If thou remainest in thine own country, thou mayst still be successful. Successful. You might feel like you will need to move in order to do whatever it is that you're trying to do moving forward, but according to the book, which you can take that as you will, that's not necessarily the case. Thank you, Leo. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Virgo. Hello. Welcome back. This is going to be your forecast for the week ahead, March 3rd through the 10th. March 3rd through the 10th. This is the dendritic agate that I will be using. So what do I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? Oh, something painful. Something very painful must have happened to you. And I feel like this could have to do with your body, like some kind of physical ailment or a broken leg. Me personally, I am feeling it like down in my gut. So that could be, for those of you who have a uterus, it could be something to do with those type of the feminine skewed reproductive organs. I know some of you might not be crazy about the terminology, but the reason I use it is for alchemical purposes. Everybody's a combination of masculine and feminine traits. Okay, so, it could have to do with that. It could also be digestive issues. It could be, like if you broke if you haven't, then I'm glad to hear that. I would much prefer that you not be in constant pain. But I feel like this kind of constant discomfort has been interfering with your life. Now, why am I getting this for Virgo at this time? You might need to see a doctor about it in order for it to resolve. Head case or head game. For some of you, this is more about like your mental state is deteriorating because of this ongoing issue, and feeling like you are like gaslighting yourself about it. Like, you don't have that problem. There's no way you have that problem. Like, maybe you've looked up your symptoms online and you keep looking into it, and there's like this condition that a lot of other people have, and you've been looking into it and you're like, there's no way that's the same problem that I'm having. And it could be something like that. I'm hearing that only a doctor can treat this, but again, this reading is for entertainment purposes only, and I know, like, I don't have health insurance and I live in the United States, so I'm not going to a doctor. I don't care what happens. But you could get a lot of help if you are able to go to a doctor. But again, that's not for me to say. What else do I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Backlash. Something about backlash for something. It could be that your diet wasn't great and your body is rebelling. But that's not necessarily the case, and I certainly don't judge. I don't judge. That's between you and your body. I do things all the time that my body hates, and it doesn't mean that they're bad for me. Like exercise. But there's some kind of backlash too, so like there could be a lot of digestive issues are caused by trauma, and this could be unresolved trauma. And at this point you can resolve the trauma, but the body is still going to be, because now it's crossed over into being a physiological issue. So you might have been trying for some time now to resolve the trauma, and thought that if you were able to do that, that your physical symptoms would diminish. And it's gotten to the point now where your body has learned this new system and is not going to give it up so easily. And probiotics and stuff like that might help, but it's not going to be the totality of the issue, because the totality of the issue is the integration of the mind into the machine. The computer and machine integration, the computer and then the machine, and that because the computer has been giving off these error messages for so long, the machine has broken in these certain ways. And I was feeling that very strongly, like in my gut area, but I mean, it could be a lot of different symptom sets for of you who are experiencing this. And I mean, most people who live in the modern world have some kind of trauma. Our ancestors had trauma. Going all the way back. I'm pretty sure the dinosaurs had their own trauma too. Even though they only had lizard brains and were working off of mostly impulse. Trauma is something that you don't get to control how much of it you have. You can only keep working through it and trying to resolve it. And I think that's what you've been doing for a long time, Virgo. And now it's getting to the point where you're going to have medical intervention if you're actually going to resolve it. Is there anything else that I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Give it a lot of thought before you decide where to start pursuing your line of treatment. Don't just pick a doctor because they're in your carrier group or whatever. I think there could be holistic ways to treat this, but obviously not essential oils. A lot of people consume essential oils, and that's not good. They are not made to be consumed. There are things that are made to be consumed, and you should focus on those. There is a healing regimen out there for you, and it will be a lot simpler than you think. It will certainly be simpler than suffering. Alright. Let's look in the book for more answers. Thou hast enemies who, if not restrained by fear of the law, would plunge a dagger in thy heart. But if you let the trauma consume you, then they won't need to. Just stand back and watch you destroy yourself. Virgo, thank you so much for joining me. I think more than anything else, there is an end in sight, and I want you to keep focused on that and not worry so much about these other issues. But I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Libra. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This will be your forecast for the week ahead, March 3rd through March 10th. What do I need to tell Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? You've really been giving someone a hard time about something. It could be you. You could have been giving yourself a hard time. It could be somebody at work. Yeah, this person's a total numbskull. I think this person probably might be an idiot, but giving them a bunch of grief about something is not going to improve the overall environment. The same way that the environment will improve organically through kindness and mutual respect. I think this person actually respects you a lot. They might show it. But they know that oftentimes you're the one who's left picking up the slack when they mess up, and I think that's a big part of the problem, is that you are tired of fulfilling that role for them, and especially if they are not very thankful for it. So what could end up happening is that they get a promotion or a transfer to a different state. Maybe both. Maybe a promotion and a transfer. Now, as far as the promotion is concerned, maybe they get a promotion, maybe they don't. I think that long term, this person is not going to remain in your immediate work vicinity. If they get a promotion, they're not going to be promoted over you. Like, they won't end up being your supervisor. This would be a situation where they were already going to be moving to a different place, and therefore it was not going to be a lateral transfer. It was going, something about it ended up being a promotion. In which case it really doesn't affect your life. You know, and if you want that transfer or that promotion, you have to fill out the paperwork yourself. But it's not like they're going to get promoted over you at your current workplace, because everybody there knows that they're an idiot. And because another thing that's going on is that because you are picking up after them, it's going to look like you are not doing your own job well enough. Now, are you fulfilling a role that you need to fulfill? Or are you let's see, how do I put this? He doesn't need your help. Like, if this thing doesn't happen, is it really going to make things that much worse? You know, you might be looking at it like, well, I need them to do X so I can do Y. And while that's true, I feel like there are a lot of parts of your job that don't hinge on this. And that if you focus on those other parts of your job and kind of shift that focus away from this other person and just kind of let them do their own thing for a while, that in the long term it will benefit you. Because people are not going to notice that you were helping this person out. They will notice if you are not helping that person out. And that will give you the opportunity to open up that dialogue, because you're going to be focusing on these other things. You're going to be doing a great job all the way over here, right? And so people know that your work ethic is good, and they're going to ask you questions about, well, why is this like this? And you're going to say, well, why do you think? Pay me more if you want me to take care of all of this. And I'm gonna want more money, but I don't need any more responsibility. Unless you want to pay me double. And then we can have that discussion. You know, it's all about knowing your worth. And not just knowing your worth in the context of the company, but in the context of your place within the company. Like, it's not about what they can afford to pay you. It's about what you deserve to be getting paid. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I might not be the best person to ask about that, because because if it were me, I'd be making my time at that company pretty short. I don't do a very good job of staying at jobs. They get to the point for me where I kind of just... But I don't think that's going to happen for you here. I think what's going to happen is things are going to have to be restructured anyway. And you can either benefit from that, or it can be kind of a muck-up for you. Is there anything else that I need to tell Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Like you might want to make cold brew at home and then bring your coffee from home is what I'm hearing. And I'm not sure what that's about, if like the coffee maker at your job is unsanitary or unpredictable, or there's something about it that's being tampered with. I'm not sure. But you should bring your coffee from home. Is there anything else? That's it. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. Yeah, just tell me your question. Tell me the question. Alright. Thy first partner will be young, handsome, and chaste. Thy second exactly the reverse. So, that could be in your romantic life, but in the context of the discussion that we just had, once this person is no longer part of your work group, somebody is going to be coming in who is much more competent. They might even be more competent than you. Wouldn't that be convenient and nice? Libra, I hope that you have a great week ahead. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Scorpio. Scorpio. This is going to be for your week ahead, March 3rd through March 10th. I'm going to be using this piece of dendritic agate. Alright. So, Scorpio. Oh, things are getting spicy for you. I think that, either you are already in a relationship with somebody, or you might be meeting a new partner, but I'm sensing a lot of sexual energy between you and another person. Now, this applies to people who enjoy sex and partake in it. If you are asexual or aromantic, this could just be somebody who really, really fits in with your interests, and you guys end up really sparking off like an intellectual sort of thing that is exciting for you in that way. But for a lot of you Scorpios, I'm really feeling it right down in my sacral center. So lot of exciting things going on for you this week, possibly, is what I'm trying to say. This is not somebody that you met by accident. This is not just some chance meeting. This is somebody that either has been around you for a while and you just never saw them that way before, or this could be somebody who has gotten closer to you over time. So somebody who kind of started out on the periphery of your friend group and then got much closer to you as you got to know each other better. And this has kind of been like the natural progression of that. It's this person. I wouldn't say they're like worming themselves into your good graces. No, I wouldn't put it like that. I would say it more like this person is just very cautious. Cautious about the intimacy that they share with other people. And there could be any number of reasons for that, like trauma, illness, or infirmity of some kind. But any of these things, I think, are not going to preclude your interactions with each other. It can take a lot to really get close to somebody. Not to you, but other people are different. Not everybody's the same. That's what makes it so great. You're having a hard time believing this. Believing what? That this person is into you. You might have a hard time believing that this person is actually into you. You might be thinking, oh, they're just using me for my connections, or they are only interested in my body. They're not interested in what else I have going on, but I don't think that's the case. I think this person is like fascinated by you, Scorpio. And who can blame them? Scorpios are pretty great. What else do I need to tell Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? This is going to be different from a lot of the other relationships that you've had, where maybe you had to be the aggressor. I mean, I say aggressor, but I mean like the assertive one in the relationship. I think that this person is actually going to catch you off guard. And it's going to be not a competition between the two of you, but it's going to be a power dynamic rebalancing for you, that maybe you have been the dominant one in a lot of your relationships, and that is going to be shifting slightly. That doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden going to be the submissive one in the relationship, but I think that there's going to be like much more of an even, balanced power dynamic between you and this particular other person than you have experienced before. I am hearing like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sleep with you tonight, but I'll come back on Thursday morning. I have some stuff I have to take care of, and in the meantime, I'm just gonna leave you here. This could be that you're staying at their house, and they're leaving you alone in their house, which takes a lot of trust for another person to do that. But it could also be there's like a sacrifice that they're making, so it's like not it's not a good idea for us to be intimate at this particular time, but then on this other occasion, like scheduling things, and that might be different for you, Scorpio. That might be something that you haven't had to deal with before. But I assure you that they're not doing that because there's something weird going on. It's literally that they compartmentalize person might be an earth sign. I only say that because that's the kind of behavior that like an earth sign would take part in. Like a Virgo or a Capricorn, maybe. Is there anything else that I need to tell Scorpio? Oh, maybe there is Sagittarius. Like a Sagittarius sun sign, but then their moon sign is like an earth sign. And that's why they're like this. So the Sagittarius part is spontaneous and fun. But then their earth sign moon is like, I have football practice at like 2 p.m. So for the hour before and the hour after, I have to focus on that and, like everything very regimented and detailed. Is there anything else that I need to tell Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Let's move on to the bibliomancy. So tell me your question. Tell me. Tell me your question. That's a hard age to be. It will be thy fate to see many changes. Thank you for joining me, Scorpio. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius. I hope that you are having an excellent 2021 so far. Let's talk about your week ahead for March 3rd through the 10th. Now, the moon is going to be in Sagittarius during this week. What do I need to tell Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Give it all you've got. If you are taking part in something, I don't know if it's a game that you're playing with friends, or if it's something you're doing at work, or a project, a painting, meeting up with your parents for dinner, whatever it is, you have a big plan for this week, it looks like, and it is a good time to give it all that you have. And it will pay off. Yeah, this could definitely be a situation where you're meeting up with your parents or something like that, or a loved one that you haven't seen in a long time, or somebody who is going through a difficult time and you care for them a lot, and so you are helping them through this difficult time. And it is about giving it all that you have. What else do I need to tell Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? Fibroblastoma. Somebody could have a health condition that's coming up. I don't know what a fibroblastoma is. That's between you and your doctor. But it could be that somebody around you is having a health crisis, and they are going to need your help. It could neurofibroblastic know that they can count on you because they've been there for you before in this way. Whether it was exactly the same condition, or whether this is something that there was a similar situation that you went through and they were there for you in this way. And because of that, they know that they can count on you. Because there's that built trust and a loyalty there, and it's not just because they did this for you. It's like that's the kind of bond that you have with this person. And I feel like you're going to be reaching out to them about it, and not vice versa. Not like they're reaching out to you to ask for help. There were several different kinds of circumstances that you've been through together that have led you to this point the way that it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what a neurofibroblastoma is, but that keeps popping up in my head for some reason. And of course, I always wish everyone the best, and I certainly am not hoping that that's a medical condition, but only you and this other person will know that, and your doctor. What else do I need to tell Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? You've had plenty of other experiences in your life to prepare you for this, possibly even recently. And it's not up to you to forecast or render aid where no aid is due. This is a particular set of circumstances that would be happening with or without you. And the strength of that is that there's no room for failure. Like, if you do your best, it will be good enough. But you have to be doing your best. It's like the genuineness of your gestures is going to be what pushes through. I'm not quite sure how to say this. Somebody's having a hard time living through you. I don't know if that means like they are living vicariously through you, or that you are helping them in many ways, and therefore it's like they're living through you because they have your help. Someone else has granted them these circumstances, and now they are kind of caught up in this web of their own design. And it is by design, but it's not of their... It is of their own design, and it is by design, but it's not of their choosing. So that the reason that they have ensnared themselves like this was supposed to be a protective measure. So there might be legal things like a restraining order or something like that is now interfering in their life. And you will be helping them out with that as well. Is there anything else that I needed to be amazing about the week ahead. Buy another toothbrush and keep it in your car. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. So, tell me your question. Tell me your question. Despotism will be speedily overturned in a country long oppressed by illiterate, indolent, and luxurious strangers. I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe that, but you can choose to believe it if you want to, Sagittarius. I hope that you have an excellent week ahead. Sagittarius. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Capricorn. Capricorn. Welcome to your crystal scrying for the week ahead of March 3rd through March 10th. What do you have to look forward to in the week ahead? Well, first of all, it might be raining or snowing where you are. Not that this is atypical, not that that is atypical weather patterns for your area, just that I think there might be some rain or some snow. I see some mountains too. You might be in the mountains or near the mountains. What is the importance of that to Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Make sure that you are properly dressing for the weather. It might be colder than normal, but like rain and snow are very wet, and they can soak through tennis shoes and stuff like that. Make sure that you're wearing good heavy boots with thick socks to keep your feet warm, or galoshes, or bringing an umbrella with you. Umbrella. I see you wearing like a scarf over your head too. Not like you in particular, just kind of like any person, like head wrapped in like a scarf to keep your hair like down, or like back, I guess. And maybe like sunglasses. But it'll keep your hair from like getting frizzy and wet and like all those things about that are unpleasant in the rain and the snow. It will help it fit under hats better, and it will keep it, kind of like wrapped up so that rain will not soak into it as bad. Why are we talking about the weather? It's going to affect your mood. So, because it is very wet, you may end up feeling very melancholy. If you are not aware of it ahead of time, and if you're not properly girding yourself against its effect, things going on this week where it's going to be difficult for you to maintain your not like your composure, but your reserve. It's going to be difficult for you to maintain your stamina for all of the things that will be going on for the week ahead. I think it's going to be kind of a busy week for you, and there's going to be a lot of administrative type stuff. Grocery shopping, maybe some reorganization, could be paperwork. I feel like there are going to be a lot of things this week that just require your attention. It could even be good. It could be like meeting up with friends or, taking classes online or something like that. Things that require your attention. And because of the weather, you are going to be feeling drained. So just be aware of that going into it, and you can maybe drink a little more coffee or tea than usual, and make sure that you are wearing the proper clothing. I thought I was gonna sneeze. To stay warm in those conditions. There are going to be a lot of people around you who are counting on you to do these things, I think. And that's why it's important. What else is going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising over the week ahead? March 3rd through the 10th. So originally I heard May 10th. What is the significance of that date? You could be closing on a house. You could be signing a lease on a new apartment or signing papers for a new job. But whatever happens, this week is when that process gets started for you. So if you are looking for a house, see, that would be something where you would want to make sure that you are dressed properly if you are going to look for houses in the rain and snow. You will have help. You'll have somebody else helping you with this project, but a lot of it is going to be something that you have to do on your own. Filling out loan paperwork or sending out resumes or whatever it is that you are going to be working on. And the payoff, I guess, would be the best way to say it. The payoff for that is going to be happening around May 10th, probably. Is there anything else that I need to tell Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? No, let's keep it practical. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. Alright, so, I'm gonna read you a couple here, because they go together. Anticipate not misfortunes before their time. The money which will be left thee will not remunerate thy anxiety. I think you might be ignoring your moods this week, so just watch out for that. said busy, right? I hope that you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome back. Today we will be talking about your week ahead, March 3rd through the 10th. And it looks like somebody has given you, this would be like somebody had a bunch of old clothing or firewood or lumber to use for building things, or possibly stones for doing like stonework in front of your house, stone walkways and stuff. I feel like you have a friend who was getting rid of a bunch of stuff like this. It could have been like fabric scraps or lengths of rope or something like that. Something very functional, but they no longer have space for it or a need for it in their own lives. And so they offered it to you. And so you have accepted this generous gift. And you are going to go and pick it up in your car. It might take a few trips, but this is something that you actually have like a clear and present need for. So it could be something that you put a call out on social media, or you were going through Craigslist and you realized like, hey, I recognize that number, I know that guy, and you talked to the person and they were just like, yeah, I would love for you to have these things. I know that you're going to get good use out of it. I feel like there might be something like that for you coming up over the next week. He handed you the parcel. I'm hearing parcel, but I'm also hearing Barcelona. A retreat center in the middle of Barcelona, where they were giving out these little trinkets, and it's like made out of clay, and they're like painted, and it's like all these little figures, and they're dancing, but all the figures are different, so they're all doing like different little dance moves, and they're these tiny little painted clay figures, like really like we're talking about this big, not much bigger than that, and of course like has a little platform that it's standing on so that it can stand up by itself. This might have been some kind of like ecstasis or agape or like a religious organization, but not really like a cult. Not really like, it's not like how you would think of, they would be closest to like the Unitarian Church or something like that, where it's pretty non-denominational. And so these little figures, how does this relate to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising moving forward? I feel like you're gonna acquire a bunch of these. Now, this is separate from the other cache of stuff that you're obtaining from this other person. I feel like this, it's related in some ways, but it's not part of that same thing. These are like little figures, and they have their own significance, and you might be finding a way to integrate all of this stuff together into something that's really going to be like a work for you. Something you're passionate about. It could be an artistic thing, but it could also be like something that you do in your yard. It could be like you put the piece things together and you put them on Etsy and sell them, something like that. Is there anything else that I need to tell Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? You might want to get a better pair of work boots. Like if you have steel-toed boots, and you've had them for a while, they might be worn out and you might want to get a new pair. Because over time, the steel-toed boots do eventually need to be replaced in order to be effective. The components around the steel toe can break down, and then the steel toe might not shield your feet as effectively. Or if the steel is like poking through the boot or something like that, I'm not quite sure. What else do I need to tell Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? There is going to be a moon in Aquarius, and there's like quite a bit of activity going on in Aquarius right now. Hold on a moment. So I went over this stuff quite a bit in the ephemera at the beginning of the video. I have all the timestamps below. But basically, there's going to be a bunch of conjunctions between the moon and the planets in Aquarius, and that's going to be happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. And and then there's also a conjunction between the Sun and Neptune on Wednesday. So, like Tuesday and Wednesday of the 9th and 10th. Yeah, March 9th and 10th. Might be busy, might be very important for you. Something like that. What should I tell Aquarius about that time? Yeah, you're gonna be busy, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be like moving you forward in a way that you're excited about. Alright, let's move on to the bibliomancy. So tell me your question. Okay. Is that it? This page, no, this page. Alright, why stake thy fortune, thy happiness, the very existence, on the cast of a die or the turn of a card? It seems like these things are going to come together because you're actively working towards them. It doesn't seem like these twists of fate are occurring just because you expect things to fall into your lap. So, like I was saying about obtaining these things in quantity, I think that that's not going to happen just because you had a friend randomly hit you up. I think it's something where you either put a call out on social media, or you asked around a group of friends, or you went on Craigslist or something like that, and you were actively participating in a search for these things. And that's why you ended up getting them. Aquarius. I hope that you have an excellent some of you are going to be celebrating a birthday this week. So to those of you who have a birthday this week, happy solar return to my sun sign Pisces. This is going to be sun, moon, and rising forecast for the week ahead. Now keep in mind that the sun is in Pisces right now, but Venus and Neptune are also in Pisces right now. So if you want to know more about that, you can watch the ephemera at the beginning of the video. I do have all the timestamps down below in the description box. What do I need to tell Pisces about the week ahead? There are going to be some ways in which you are not feeling yourself. So not like, not necessarily in a bad way, but I heard Virgo when I was saying Pisces, and Virgo is your oppositional sign. So Virgo is very analytical energy. It's still mutable energy, but it's earth sign, whereas Pisces is water sign. Virgos are very analytically minded, very detail oriented. There's all things to do about daily routines and your health, whereas Pisces is all about the intuition and more about the feeling of things. So there might be situations this week in which you are actually behaving more analytically. You are acting from, like this rational side that you don't necessarily tap into as frequently as you tap into your intuition. Some people might even be saying stuff like, get out of here, what did you do to my friend? What have you replaced, you're a body snatcher. But actually, it's quite alright. Everybody goes through different phases in their lives, and maybe right now, this is the phase that you are growing through. So it's not bad either. It's not like, I don't feel like you are getting neurotic about things or over-analyzing situations necessarily. There might be some of that creeping in around the edges, but I think for the most part, this is going to be a very healthy and welcome change for you, just for a time, and I don't think it's really that much of a departure from your normal self. But I do think it's important for you to recognize when you are tapping into this other energy and maybe kind of tracking it. You don't need to necessarily write all of it down, but just kind of like take a mental note about in what situations am I doing X, Y, or Z, and what is my result. And of course, if you are behaving in a more analytical or acting, I guess I should say, acting from a more analytical and detail-oriented standpoint, then it will be second nature to you to take these kinds of notes and make these observations about it. Everything will be back to normal by mid-March. By mid-March, you will be kind of, getting back into your old routines. Not necessarily the old routines, but like, kind of more like feeling your old self again and finding yourself in these new routines that are healthier maybe, or maybe it just works better for you. Maybe you kind of just organically flow into this new path. And just like destroys your week. I think it's going to be something that you start a bullet journal, or you buy a day planner or something like that, and you start taking lots of notes about things and observations, and maybe even tracking your diet and exercise, and tracking all these things and seeing what the result is. And then based on that, deciding to make changes or not make changes, as the case may be. I think there are going to be a few things like that you observe over the next week. What else do I need to tell Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Get plenty of sleep and drink lots of water. You are a water sign, so it's good for you to drink lots of water. Water. Is there anything else that I need to tell Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Just happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. Let's move on to the bibliomancy. Tell me your question. Tell me your question. I think this is fitting. Mind what thou art about, and thou art sure to be successful. So I think all of this is going to put you on the path to great fortune and success. Thank you for joining me, Pisces. I hope you have an excellent week ahead. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Here we have the different wax fragments. This piece right here, to me, looks a bit like a seahorse. And apparently seahorses mate for life. Oh, I broke it. So there could be things going on this week for you that end up being long-term parts of the rest of your life. Oh, I am just molesting these things to death, sorry. We have quite a few of these larger splotches. Don't remember if this is part of the tail. I think the tail was over here. But seahorses are in the ocean, so there could be like water sign energy attached to that. Also with the seahorses, the males of the seahorse species are the ones who end up gestating the young in their pouch ceromancy this week.